cat and I play red. Now's the time of year when we are frantically going through the Essen Spiel new release list, hunting all the things that we want to see and play over the course of the convention. Obviously, this year's going to be a bit different. Check out Spiel Digital. There'll be a load of stuff I'm doing over the event, but we're still trawling the lists and looking at what's coming out. And there's a couple of things we're quite excited about that link to one thing. Make sense? No? Oh well. The game we're going to look at today is Raja of the Ganges by Marks & Inca brand and published by R&R and Hooch Games. The reason it's all linked in magically is because this year there is a roll and write version of the game coming out, and also a special little box number 2, which I'll talk about later on. But for now, let's have a look at the game. Raja of the Ganges is in some ways a race game. Over the course of the game, you'll be awarded money, which is represented by this silver, and fame, represented by the gold peacocks. Each player has a marker on the fame track and the silver track, and over the course of the game these will move along, and the game will end when someone manages to overlap the 2 markers. The game not only has a little bit of dice rolling, it's a worker placement game with a tile placement element as well. So in a lot of ways, it's quite different to a lot of other things you would have played. At the start of the game, you'll begin with 3 meeples in your colour to place, and another 3 that are available to you on the board, even though you'll only ever get an extra 2 of them. You'll also start with 1 dice of each colour. So let's roll these and see what I get. So these then go here. So these are the dice in those colours I have to play with this round. So with my 3 actions, I'm going to place a worker, usually use at least 1 dice, and then play will pass to the next player. Let's have a look at what you can do with your workers. The 4 spots on the board here just let you take an extra dice of the same colour. So I pop a worker here, I get a purple dice, I roll it and pop it with my others. Same for orange, green or blue. Alternatively, if all of your dice are horrible, you can pay 2 silver to re-roll the lot on this space here. The balcony here lets you swap 1 dice for 2 dice of another specified colour. So, place a worker here, I'd hand in a blue dice, but I'd get 2 orange. Whenever you get new dice, you always roll them and then add them to your pool. So, what are we doing with these dice? Let's have a look at the rest of this really crazy ornate board and have a look. At the top here, we have the karma track. You can always use 1 point of karma to swap a dice to the opposite side. So in this case, my purple shows a 1. I could pay that karma and flip it to a 6. Or the reverse, or a 5 to a 2, 3 to a 4, and so on. So karma can be really helpful. Here we have a set of actions that are all specific to a certain number shown on your dice. So if you hand in my purple one I've got here, if I were to hand that in and place a worker, I'd get the start player and 2 fame points. Now, one of the things that I think is really important to talk about with this game is the incredibly cool start player token. This rather fabulous ornate elephant. So it's worth going there just to get the little elephant for a round. So, moving on. 2 will get you 2 dice, any colour of your choosing, and a special token. So, let's just flip to the other side of the board. There's a series of little tokens here that are just placed randomly upside down. If you're going to take one, you flip it over. In this case, it will give me 1 dice and move it out the way. So most of these, I was going to say most of these give you dice, but now I'm looking, they don't. These give you dice. These ones will give you 3 coins. This one, as I showed you, gives you a karma. And this one will move you up a building track. But we'll move on to buildings in a bit. So, when these run out, you just return the ones that have been used, turn them all face down and shuffle them up again. So, back to our spots here. Here, you can discard a 3. You'll get 2 karma and an extra dice. Here, discard a 4, move along that building track. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about it. And get 3 coins. For a 5, you can overbuild a tile. We'll look at that in a bit as well. And then with a 6, you can move 6 spaces down the river. So this seems like an appropriate time to have a look at the river. Each player will start with a boat right at the beginning of the Ganges here. These are the spots that will allow you to move up this river. So the first spot is free. If I use a 1, I get 1 movement. If I use a 2, I get 1 or 2. And if I use a 3, I get 1 to 3. All I do, if I go there and give in that same miracle purple one, I'd move up 1 space and I'd get the benefit shown on the board. Here, it's 2 dice. If the green player wanted to move 1 space, if they put their worker there, paid their gold, threw their dice in, they'd actually automatically jump straight over me and they'd get the 2 karma shown. If you follow the river up, you'll see we come to a bridge here. If you get your boat this far, you get to take 1 of these extra workers. There are actually 3 spots on the board that give you an extra worker, though over the course of the game you can only gain 2 more for a total of 5 workers. But this is one of the spots you can get them from. So this spot here is where you'll build tiles and place them on your player board. So I put my worker there, pay my 1 silver and have a look at the tiles that are available to me. If you notice, the tiles are in 4 colours: purple, orange, blue and green, which are the colours that match the dice. So, if I have a look, at the moment I have 4 points in blue to spend, 3 in green, 5 in orange and 1 in purple, which could potentially become a 6. So, I'm actually going to spend the 4 blue and take this 4 blue tile. So I then get to place it on my board. They can be placed in any direction. However, they must always be connected to this central point here. So in this case, I could pop that tile there. I'd instantly gain 3 coins for joining here, but I'd also get some fame points for building the building shown here. So if we go and have a look, there are 4 different building types available on the tiles, as shown here. The little symbol I showed you earlier allows you to move up these and make specific buildings worth more fame points. In this case, this is the building I'm building. I'd get 2 fame, so I'd just move up 2 on the fame track for building that tile. It also gives me 3 coins, so I'd move up 3 on the silver track. Be very careful with this though, because now I've put this, you can see it's very easy to block yourself out. Not only do you want to be getting the points from placing tiles, but you really want to be getting these bonuses here. And ones at the bottom are especially tasty. So that is this spot here. Obviously, the more people that go there, the more expensive it gets to build. So if I wanted to build again, I'd have to pay 2 silver, then 3 and 4 and so on. This area here also references the tiles in your personal area. You'll notice there's 3 different types of goods. I think it's tea, cloth and wheat. So let's go back and have a look at these tiles. You'll notice they have farms on. So here there's a cloth farm that's worth 3 silver. Here a wheat farm worth 3, wheat farm worth 2, and a tea farm worth 3. Once you have these buildings in your display, you can use the spots on the board to generate money from them. So very quickly, let's have a look. Let's make sure we haven't got an illegal placement. Let's pop these here. So you can see I have 2 wheat farms, 1 for 3 coins and 1 for 2. So I can place a worker on the spot for wheat farms. I have to chuck a dice away for any of these 3 spots. The value of the dice indicates the number of farms I'm harvesting from. So if we have a look at the dice I've got, if I were to use the purple dice, I could only harvest from 1 of my farms here. However, if I were to use the 3, I could harvest from the 2 I have available. So in this case, I'd discard the green dice and I'd get 3 coins from there, 2 from there, giving me a total of 5 coins. So I'd move up 5 on the silver track. The other spot here is really interesting. If you'll notice, there's no dice image, so you don't have to throw a dice away to use it. It lets you harvest from 3 different farms. So again, if I were to put a worker here, going back to my example, I could harvest from here, here and here, the 3 different resources, for a total of 8 coins. So in this particular instance, it's more beneficial for me to go on that spot than it was the wheat spot. The other spots on the board I haven't mentioned are the bonuses along the tracks. So the phone track here, there's a bonus that allows you to move up on these. There's an extra worker, some karma and some river movement. The money track works in a slightly different way. We've still got the other available worker here. However, we have these 2 little 2-sided tokens. Don't know, can we see them? No. Okay, so they start on the 12th spot with the blue side face up. So as soon as a player gets there, this marker gives you the bonus, in this case, 1 movement up the river. It flips over and it moves to there. So when you then get here, you're going to get 2 dice, colour of your choice, and it will flip over and moves there. And that carries on all the way basically to the halfway point. So it will flip over here. When you get there, you'll get the dice. So sometimes these bonuses on the scoring tracks can really give you a boost and an edge. So it's worth looking out for what you want at any time with a view to bumping up the right track. So now we've had a look at everything, let's just do a quick little turn. So I'm starting with my 3 workers. I have 1 dice of each colour that I've rolled and popped here on my little Carly tableau. So what would I like to do? Obviously you want to get building and get these bonuses because they just help you bump everything that little bit more. I think for a first move, I'm going to go and build. So, place my worker here. Oops. Be nice to start with that many coins. Pay my 1 coin. I'm then going to pay a karma. And I'm going to flip this blue one over to a 6. And I'm going to buy this tile here for 5. Now, sadly, I'm paying slightly over. Tough. So, I'm going to take this tile and I'm going to put it here. So, this tile will get me 3 silver and some fame. Only 2 at the moment because I've not moved up this track. So, I then move up 2 on the fame track. I like the boats and I need some extra dice, so that's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here. This spot costs me nothing to use. However, I have to give up my 1 dice, this purple one that keeps coming time and time again. Move my boat up to here and I get 2 dice of my choice. Now, especially early game, it can be quite tricky to work out what you want. I think I'm going to take an orange dice because some of these orange tiles look nice. And I'm going to take a purple and pray I don't get another one. So, wrong, and that's what I've got. So, pop them here, my tableau. And what else do I want to do? I've got no farm, so I can't get any income. I'm actually going to go on this 2 in the palace. So I'm going to give up that yellow 2 that I just rolled back into the supply. Get a tile and 2 dice of my choice. So I'm going to take a tile. That's nice. It gives me that karma back that I used. And 2 dice. So I don't have any blue. I still want yellow. So I'm going to take 1 blue and 1 yellow. Ooh. Roll them and pop them there. So you can see this particular board gives me 8 spaces for dice. If I have 8, I can't take any more. I'm carrying these 5 dice over into the next round. This game has a lot of variations, which I'll have a quick look at, but this is what we're playing for now. So I can have up to 8 dice. I'm fine with my 5. I've placed my 3 workers. My opponent has placed their 3 workers. Look at them go. We now take workers back and go into the next round. So when you know what you're doing with this game, it's actually super quick. So you can prepare and plan to some degree in advance what you want. Going to build a game. Now I've got enough yellow, so I'm going to hand in 10 yellow, orange, don't know, orange, and take this tile, which I'm going to place. Oh, I had a definite idea, and now it's gone. I'm going to go there. See, I can rotate these tiles however I want. I can even have dead ends if I wanted. So I could, in theory, place a tile here and... Oh no, I couldn't do it there. You must have at least 1 road connecting. So, but it's not essential that all roads connect. So I could leave this one empty, or I could... Oh, this is all too easy. I'm trying to find a good example, which of course I never can. I could put that there. Even though these 2 roads don't go anywhere, I have a road that connects to the system and connects to my main building here. So that's fine, even though these 2 aren't connecting. So working out what you can do with your tiles and what angles they go at is all part of the fun. So let's just pop all these ones back that I pulled out to try and find a good example. So I was placing this. So 3 coins for me. And this is the point I might choose to look at the farm, because if I were to place a worker here, no dice needed, I could cash in on my cloth and wheat, which would give me 4 points, which means I hit this token, move that over, and my boat moves up 1, which gets me an extra 2 karma, which is always handy to have. So you can see how quickly the game actually escalates. Some of these building tiles have 2 different structures on, in which case you score the fame for both. So potentially if you've managed to get both of these tracks up, you can get 8 fame for just laying that tile, even if it doesn't connect to anything on the outside. As I said at the start, the end of the game is triggered when a fame marker and a money marker pass each other. You play to the end of the round because other players have an opportunity to catch up. So in this case, the marker's only 1 ahead. However, if in the remaining turn, green was able to come in and get their markers like that, they'd actually be 2 ahead. So despite me having finished the game, they would win. So it's important to keep an eye on where your opponents are on both tracks. What I've actually shown you here is the basic version of the game. Now, the player boards in the standard box are actually dual-sided, and there's a variant to play with those. Also, last year they released, I haven't got the box anymore, a little box that had 6 mini expansions for this game, including some extra tiles, there's some extra workers, some extra river tiles, and all sorts of fun things. The Mango Grove expansion, loads of fun little stuff to play with. And basically it's the second box like this that's being released at Essen. So I'm quite excited about that. I like the fact that they're all really dinky little expansions. A couple of them add 4 tiles and that's it, which is great because you can add them slowly or you can chuck them all in and go crazy. However you want to play it, that's fine. We love Marcus and Inkebrand. We love their games. They're great. Raja of the Ganges is no exception to that. I have to admit, the first time I played it, I was a bit unsure. For me, it's definitely been a grower. That first play, I was like, oh, it's just a race game. Then I played it again and I really kind of got into it. I found a copy at a good price, and it's something we keep going back to, especially at the moment when we're playing 2 players. We want something with a bit of think, but not necessarily too much think with everything else that's going on. So it's a nice quick game when you know what's going on, but there's enough strategy, especially when you start adding the mini expansions and the advanced version of the game. It's well worth checking out. I'm excited to see how the roll and write is going to play. The style and the look is very similar. Don't know too much about the game yet. And again, the little mini box, I don't know how many expansions are going to be in that. This one that I bought was an absolute bargain. I think I picked it up at BGG Con last year. I think it was $20, maybe $25, 6 mini expansions. You can't argue with that for a game you love. So, that's Raja of the Ganges. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click like, subscribe. We've got loads of exciting content coming up for Spiel Digital. Stay tuned. Hopefully we're going to have a couple of live events. I appreciate the time differences with everyone across the world. It's not quite so easy, but we'll try and work around that. So keep an eye out on all my socials for details of that. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. That's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also, have a look on my Instagram. I've been doing Snaptober. Been having a lot of fun with that. A bit of craziness going on there. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.